ISIL fighters are reported to be consolidating their hold on the area around Ramadi. There are growing calls for the United States to change its strategy to defeat them. Iraq's Deputy Prime Minister says the group can no longer be regarded as a local matter. ISIL's capture of Ramadi, the capital of Iraq's biggest province, was a major setback for the government. The question now is where they will go next and how to stop them. More than 40,000 people have left Ramadi since it was captured by ISIL earlier this week. On Thursday, they took over the ancient Syrian city of Palmyra. And the last government-held border post between the two countries has also fallen. ISIL now controls more than half of Syria and large parts of Iraq's Sunni heartland. Let's cross live now to Zeina Khodr, who is in the Iraqi capital Baghdad for us. Zeina, how does the capture of Ramadi affect things now?
Well, at the end of the day, ISIL did not just stop after capturing Ramadi. They took over Anbar's provincial capital on Sunday, but since then they have been on the offensive. They have moved east from Ramadi, taking the town of Hoseiba, and now there is fierce fighting in Khaldiye, another town very close, a few kilometers from the Habaniya military base, and it seems ISIL wants to take control of this base because it's going to be used as a staging ground by the Iraqi army as well as Shia paramilitary forces when they do launch this counter-offensive. So ISIL has pushed east, but late yesterday ISIL also opened a new front northwest of Ramadi in the town of Haditha. They targeted a number of government checkpoints, Haditha being the only significant town in government hands in the west of Anbar. So as we can see, ISIL is on the offensive. The counter-offensive by the government has still not begun. The spokesperson for the Popular Mobilization Forces, which is the umbrella group of Shia militiamen, said that it is going to begin in the coming days. They are preparing, and according to him, this will not be an easy fight. Tens of thousands of troops are expected to be involved. According to the spokesman, ISIL's fighters are inside the city. They're fortifying their positions. And we have to also remember that there are civilians in Ramadi. And ISIL, we've seen this in the past. This has been their tactic. They plant explosive devices everywhere, slowing the advance of any force. So the counter-offensive has not begun, and ISIL clearly having a strategy.
And in terms of the overall battle to defeat ISIL, how does that figure into things now?
Well, we've been hearing a lot of calls, for the need to change this strategy or review this strategy, because ISIL, like you mentioned earlier, has not only taken territory in Iraq, it has taken territory in Syria. 2 cities in a week, Ramadi and Palmyra. The U.S. administration really downplaying the gains, saying that we are not losing this fight, but many in Iraq will disagree with that, especially Sunni tribal leaders. They say that the policy has been wrong. We have to remember last June when ISIL took control of much of the Sunni heartland, Sunni politicians who were in exile in northern Iraq, in the Kurdish-controlled territories. I remember speaking to them at the time, and their demand was very clear. We will not take on ISIL on behalf of Iran. They believe that if they push ISIL out, it only means Shia militias come in, and it means, for them at least, an Iranian occupation. For them, the only way they will help and join this fight if the government implements decentralization. Sunnis want to take responsibility of their own territories, govern their own territories, be responsible of the security. And for them, this is the way forward. But there is opposition in Baghdad. So no clear strategy, really, because ISIL has been taking ground. And even in Syria, the coalition doesn't have much choice, because at the end of the day, it doesn't have partners on the ground. It has been saying that it wants to train rebel forces, but there has been slow progress. And if the coalition does hit ISIL in Palmyra, it will be seen as helping the Syrian government, which really is illegitimate in the eyes of many Western and Arab countries.
All right, Zeina Khodr live for us in Baghdad.